When I started making videos on YouTube covering the injuries of professional athletes, I thought the majority of my videos would be ankle sprains, quad injuries, hamstring strains, potentially even arm breaks. Never would I have thought that I'd be covering the unfortunate events that led to Jonathan Richter being struck by lightning in the middle of a football match, being put into a coma, having a cardiac arrest where his heart stopped, and then having an amputation which would have ended his career. In this video, I'm going to try my best to take you through the journey that Jonathan Richter experienced from the day he was struck by lightning to the day his football career ended. If you don't know me already, my name is Matthew Faisa and I'm a medical student from London interested in sports medicine. On this channel, we make videos on player injuries, as I mentioned before, and cover injuries of the past and the present, and try and explain the medical side of things and when we can expect them to return. If you stumbled across this video and kind of enjoy this content or intrigued by it, make sure to drop a like and also subscribe to the channel. This video was influenced and recommended to me by a subscriber on Reddit. I previously had no knowledge of this injury, didn't know who Jonathan Richter was. However, this was recommended to me and I thought it'd be quite interesting to cover and share with my subscribers and the viewers on YouTube. On the 20th of July 2009, Jonathan Richter, whilst playing for FC Nordsjælland, was probably the unluckiest player to ever play football and had the odds-on weirdest event ever to occur. Very unfortunately, he was struck down by lightning during the game, and this induced a cardiac arrest which caused his heart to stop. According to the National Geographic, being struck down by lightning is an odds of 1 in 700,000, so this truly demonstrates how unlucky Richter was and how rare an event such as this is likely to happen. Some symptoms or some signs that can occur to someone that's been struck by lightning involve severe burns in the form of electrocutions and also brain hemorrhages, and in Richter's case, a cardiac arrest. A cardiac arrest is a loose term people sometimes use for a heart attack. A heart attack is more of a myocardial infarction, which is the result of the coronary arteries, which are the arteries that supply oxygenated blood to the heart to keep it beating and keep the cells healthy and working. When they get blocked, that's when a heart attack occurs. However, a cardiac arrest is when kind of the impulse that causes the heart to beat and continuously just stops dead. As a result, you have what happened in Jonathan Richter's case, where his heart stopped on a dime. A cardiac arrest is a very significant event, and this can lead to death and long-lasting injuries in the form of brain damage. The reason I say this is, if you remember, the function of the heart is to pump blood all around the body, and when the heart stops beating, this blood can no longer circulate. And if you remember, every organ, every cell, every tissue in the body requires oxygen to function, much like our brains. And our brains, if they lack oxygen, the cells start to die very quickly. And once the cells in the brain die, it's very hard to recover them, and they're unlikely to kind of regenerate and kind of go back to their healthy state, lasting to permanent brain damage. The time taken for permanent brain damage to set in varies, however we know it's very short. It kind of typically lasts from 3 minutes to 9 minutes. That window of kind of opportunity shows that if you can get some kind of beat or CPR to happen in 3 minutes prior to it setting in, then potentially you can prevent long-lasting brain damage. Alternatively, you can do what the doctors in the Vidov hospital did, and that was induce a medical coma for Jonathan Richter. This is part of the Danish protocol, and what a coma does is that it reduces the metabolic activity rate of the cells in the brain. As a result, you reduce the oxygen demand for the cells, and therefore that means they require less oxygen to function. This acts as kind of a protective feature and prevents, or at least reduces the likelihood of permanent brain damage setting in. The medical team that was responsible for Richter planned to keep him in a coma only till the 29th of July. However, there were signs that showed that he was kind of progressing very slowly and was in worse state. As a result, they extended this deadline and actually took him out of the coma and around August the 1st. Surprisingly, however, despite Richter being put in the coma for an extended period of time from August the 1st, he was a lot better when he got up and when he was taken out of the coma. He actually personally wanted to call the chairman of the club to tell him he's fine and that he wants to return to training. This is an optimistic sign and a very good sign that at least there's no permanent brain damage, or at least no visible damage that we can see to his Broca's and Wernicke's complex, which are the two complexes in the brain responsible for interpreting speech and also producing speech to talk. However, all was not good, as a month later, Richter and the team and his medical staff, they decided that it was necessary to complete a leg amputation. This is a very unfortunate circumstance, as perhaps there was light at the end of the tunnel in the sense that he could return to football after he came out the coma speaking and everything was good. However, due to the fact that they decided to do a below-knee amputation, this certainly meant that there was no chance for him to return to football. However, perhaps it's kind of the best of a very bad situation. You know, he was struck down by lightning, 1 in 700,000 chance, as listed by the National Geographic. And to escape with no brain damage is truly amazing, truly rare, and a lot better, as, you know, obviously we don't want to lose a leg, but I think losing a leg is a lot better than losing your brain and not being able to speak and communicate with people from that point onwards. Regarding why he had a leg amputation, I couldn't find the exact reason why he had it, but we can assume, you know, the lightning strike might cause a severe burn on the leg. This burn might get infected. As a result, this infection might get worse whilst he's in hospital. Antibiotics don't work, for example. And then that leads to kind of a decline in function, which prevents him from recovering fully. Something like this would cause the medical staff and the doctors and other medical professionals to kind of come to the decision that perhaps a below-knee amputation is needed to kind of get rid of the infected tissue and kind of allow him to restart his road to recovery properly and not have anything holding him back. This is a very hard decision, as much like anyone else, they value their legs, and for him, probably values it even more, as his job involves him playing football and performing at the most elite level. This is very similar to Santi Carzola's case. Santi Carzola suffered from infectious gangrene, which caused his Achilles tendon not to heal properly when he was at Arsenal, and he came very close to kind of amputating that leg. However, somehow in the lasting side of things, the doctors in Spain managed to kind of get a grip of the infection and prevent having to do the surgery, allowing him to restart his career at Villarreal and become the leading goal scorer. If you want to know more about Santi Carzola's injury and how he nearly lost his leg and his career, click the link in the description or the I button in the corner and you can get more details about that. If you enjoyed this video and you learn a little bit about Jonathan Richter and his unfortunate circumstance, make sure to comment down below your thoughts on the injury, and also like the video, share it with your friends, and also subscribe to the channel so you don't miss out on any videos in the future. Apart from that, I want to say thank you for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.